and thank you for all being here.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, and still being here. That's great. And yeah, Fran, let you guys know, I've been going through a lot of stuff, and that's true. I went through a lot of stuff. Probably the last 2 years, I went through a lot, and I'm still standing. And when you keep thinking there's more you can't handle, life can throw more at you. So I went through quite a bit last year, and I think you guys, if you guys were in St. Louis, I talked about how I don't live there anymore because I was being took back where I didn't live. So I spoke about that in February. And you thought you wouldn't get more thrown, but I've had more thrown. So I've had a lot in the last 2 years, and I'm still standing. And yesterday, I was here, and somebody actually just told me in the bathroom, you look really, really tired. I go, I'm going through a lot. And that's true, I'm going through a lot. But in the process of going through a lot, I realized I have been a mom since I was 19. My whole adult life, I've been a mom, I've been a wife, I'm a nurturer on steroids, right? And we forget about self-care. And so today I'm going to talk about that. I actually wrote a whole presentation on abandonment. And I looked at that presentation and I said, that is so negative. Now you can turn it around and you can make that a positive thing, right? But I just brain dumped it all because I was going through a lot, like I said. And I was feeling somewhat abandoned in the process. And then I realized that, you know what? Self-care is so important. Okay, I'm loud, but okay, I'll hold the mic here. But self-care is so important. And so I'm going to talk about why we need self-care, the benefits of self-care, and finding balance. And here is my clicker.
Sherry, don't hold the bottom.
Yeah, but why does this keep changing?
No, the bottom
Okay.
of the mic.
Huh?
The bottom of the mic. Don't hold the bottom of the mic.
Roll with it, Sherry, roll with it.
Go, I am just going to talk, and I have a loud voice. Okay, but we forget to put on our air mask first, right? And there's so many times that we forget to do that. Okay, I'm going to hold my mic. I'm going to forget about my PowerPoints. How about that? But sometimes we just forget to stop and put on our own air mask. But if you guys ever rode on a plane, and when you ride on a plane, what do they tell you on a plane? They say put your air mask on first before you assist others. Okay, I don't know if you guys know what I do for a living, but I go out and help people create the life and business that they love. I impact. I am a powerful influencer in the community. I do so much to help everybody else because that's just who I am. And so I'm a coach. I go out and I help all these other people. But we have to stop sometimes and remember to put our own air mask on first because that's what they tell us to do on the plane. So they even say to do it before small children. And now I don't know who's changing the PowerPoints, but anyway, I have. I know. And I was trying to play with my clicker and then they're.
Just tell Brian click. Just tell Brian.
No, there you go. I am a mother of 4. This is my big plan, except for now I have another son-in-law. And so when I'm a mother of 4, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a business person, right? So you go out and you do all these things for everybody else, but sometimes you forget, like I said, to stop and put your mask on first. And that's what we have to do when you're thinking about self-care. So what are some of the things that you guys do in the audience to do self-care? And I know we've had a lot of information, right? And so now we're down to talking about self-care. And it's so important that we do that we remember to stop and think of ourselves. So I'm going to let you know, I told you guys I've been through a lot. I'm going to let you know a secret. Yesterday I spent 2 hours in the hotel room crying. And I could not stop. Because I told you I've been through a lot. But you know what? That's part of self-care, right? I was talking to God. I was praying. I tried to stop and do meditation. I could not stop crying. Do you know that crying is not a bad thing? That's a release, right? But by the time we got to the black tie event, I was tired. I was tired because I thought maybe I'd take a nap or something, but that didn't happen. But then I wasn't too tired, if anybody's seen me in the room, to dance. Because you know what? Dancing, like no one's watching, is part of my self-care. Because what is something you guys enjoy doing? I like dancing. I like water. I have a hot tub in my backyard. Okay, it's just a blow-up one, but it doesn't matter. However, you have to get into those things, right? For self-care is so important. And so to stop and remember that. And sometimes you get more time for that. And the importance of self-care, it affects you mentally. How many people in this room are business owners? How many people want to be more productive in their business and their life? Self-care will make you become more productive over time. Because it does, it'll affect you mentally, physically, and emotionally. If you don't stop and do self-care. Because mentally, being out in being out in nature, that's what I was just talking about. Dancing, what are some of the things that you can do? Pray, meditation, devotions, journaling.
Water skiing.
Yeah, water skiing can be good. But I have so much going on right now in my life that, you know what? Sometimes I've sat down and tried to journal, and I can't do it. And yet, I'm a coach. I tell people, go journal, brain dump that. Well, just because you can't journal doesn't mean you can't do voice to talk, doesn't mean you can't pray to God. It doesn't mean that you can't do it in a different manner, right? And even if you're out in nature. But to make sure, or you can phone a friend. And yesterday when I was crying for 2 hours, I was like, man, I have nobody, which is bullshit. Sorry for my bad language. Okay, it's BS. But the point is, you can tell yourself those bad thoughts. But you know what, guys? I have amazing people in my life. And a lot of them amazing people are right here in this room, right? But I have always, as my husband says, I collect friends. Well, are they really your friends, though? When everything hits the fan, you find out who your real people are, right?
Yeah.
But of course, I know who my real people are. And like I said, a lot of you are in here in the room. But it's important to realize who those people are. And then I know that we've had so much thrown at us with all this great information. And by the way, I'm so glad I'm here because there's been awesome, awesome speakers. Who here has gotten some really good information? Oh, yeah. And so it's been awesome. And to be around all these positive, amazing people is always a good thing to do. And so we've talked about all these different things that are so important, but have we stopped and worried about ourselves? Physical tips. Regular exercise. Do you know what I realized I've done the last 3 days? I don't know if any of you other in here, I have not been outside for 3 days. And yesterday, somebody called me out and I had black on, I guess. And they're like, you should not be wearing black. I said, what do you mean I shouldn't be wearing black? And she's like, your personality, you don't need black on. That's not what you should be wearing, Sherry. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. So I went and threw a pink jacket on. I said, is this good enough? Went back and told the girl, is this good enough? Right? And this morning, this is what I wanted to wear. I woke up and I said, this is what I'm going to wear today. Do you know when you wake up in the morning, we pick out outfits, and I was talking to some girls, like my husband likes to lay his clothes out. Okay, that might work for guys, but us women, we like to figure out how we feel and what we want to wear. But when you say how you feel and what you want to wear, I tell people, you picked out your outfit because that's how you want to feel and what you want to wear. But do you pick out your mindset in the morning like you do your clothes? Like when you wake up and you're having a bad mindset. When I actually left here yesterday, I was walking by and a few people see me crying. And I was trying to get out of here before I started crying because that's not who I am. I'm Mrs. Positive. I walk in a room and I just love people and I love energy and I hug everybody and that's just how I am. But all of a sudden, I had to leave. And I had a friend that noticed and said, hey, do you need a shoulder to cry on? I said, no, I can pick myself up. I'll figure it all out. Did you guys hear I spent 2 hours crying? I finally texted a friend and said, hey, maybe. But by the time the friend showed up, I was done crying. Now, did you still get to talk to your friend? And that was great and da-da-da. But you know what somebody told me? When I told them that story, and now I'm telling it to you guys, they said, are you serious? So God had your angel friend right there, and you went up to the room to try to deal with it all on your own, and then you finally let your friend show up, and it took you 2 hours to get your crap together. And I go, well, I didn't quite look at it from that perspective. I thought maybe I'd go up there. Well, and I listen to meditation, and I've been doing it. The last 3 months have been really, really hard. If you guys want to do anything for me, you could pray for me. The last 3.5 months has been really, really hard. That's all I'm going to say. It's been really, really hard. And I could use prayer, but I will tell you that I thought I'd go up, and I've been listening to meditation scripture. So I thought, I'm going to lay down, maybe get some rest, listen to my meditation scripture. If you won't stop crying, you can't hear it, guys. And I did not. I am a planner. And I have goals and objectives and things I need to get done. And crying for 2 hours was not on my schedule yesterday. Who here ever puts that on their schedule? But it was a good release, right? And that is self-care. Did you hear that? It is self-care. But maybe using a friend before you get that bad is not a bad idea. And I was up there telling myself, and I was like, really? Because on the way up there, I had a friend that noticed and said, hey. Right? So you have a friend. So sometimes what we tell ourselves when we're in those bad moments, and then we need to figure out what we need. But regular exercise, the way you eat, and getting enough rest. Do you know there's people that say they can make it on 4 or 5 hours? Very few people can do that. You guys need 7 to 8 hours sleep. And we're all talking about becoming the best version of yourself. What are you eating? Do you move? I never thought that I haven't been out in sunshine for 3 days. Do you know that affects your mood? And yeah, I'm glad because I was here for most of the presenters, and yesterday I missed a couple people I didn't want to miss. I'll go back, hopefully get to watch some replays, things like that. So I get that we can't maybe go out in the sunlight, but yeah, you need to go out in the sunlight. And you need to get exercise. Oops, I think I went too far. Preventing burnout. Self-care literally prevents burnout. I've been dealing with a lot the last 3.5 months. I have never let myself cry for 2 hours. But maybe I needed to, right? Because it will burn you out. So self-care is a powerful tool. Recharging, and it refuels you. And somebody, like I said, somebody was telling me, you like to dance. I'm like, yeah, anybody who knows me would know that I like to dance. But you can dance like nobody's watching. And if that's going to give you energy, then do it. So yeah, I've been dancing a lot. If anybody noticed, I have. But that brings me joy, and it gives me energy, and it prevents burnout. You can have more self-compassion for others when you take care of yourself. Self-promotion, you get self-acceptance. Do you know it impacts your relationships? One of my kids was telling me, I was like, I always put you kids and your dad and everybody first. And one of my children said, that's not really true, Mom. And I said, oh, well, I shouldn't have done that. And he said, what? And I go, I'm real proud of you because you will put your child in, daycare or whatever to take care of yourself sometimes. So we're talking about being a superhero. You are not a superhero if you're not doing self-care. And you're not a martyr if you put your family needs before your own. And I did that too much. And I think as a mom, and like I said, anybody knows me, I'm a nurturer on steroids. right? That's just who I am. I'd rather help somebody else or take care of somebody else. But sometimes I forgot to put my own air mask on. And so I said, that's what I did wrong as a mom. Because you'll get mom burnout. You'll get wife burnout. You'll get business burnout. I have business owners that literally brag that they're working, I don't even know how many hours. And I wrote a book, it's over there. I'm all about work-life balance. And part of work-life balance is making sure we do self-care. It'll benefit our society in the long run. Did you know that? Because if you have more self-love for yourself and you do more self-care for yourself, you can do better when you help other people. And who am I to sit up here and talk about self-care if I'm not taking care of myself? And I've lost 41 pounds lately because I've been doing more self-care, been eating more, been spending a lot more time with God. And somebody's like, oh, you're all by yourself in this journey, and I'm not. Do you know that I have God, I have Jesus, and I have the Holy Spirit in my house, and I have a dog, and if you spell dog backwards, that's God, right? So when I feel like I'm all alone, which I'm not, and it's a lie, but it's what that negative mindset does to you, right? Or I call it the devil, right? He's trying to hold me back. And with a lot of stuff that's happened to me, I call these your Job moments. Got to go back and read the book of Job, right? All the stuff that Job went through. And so if you go through these Job moments, that means something big is going to happen, right? And people are trying to stop it. Or the devil's trying to stop it. But we already know that God has the plan in all of it. So spending more time with him has not been a bad thing. So the key tips for self-care is it's not selfish to do self-care. And if you're like me, I sometimes will feel like, oh, that's selfish. I could be doing so much more for other people. But again, if you don't take care of yourself, how can you take care of others? And how can you teach other people to take care of themselves? And how are you teaching your children, if you have kids, to take care of yourself? Even now, 3 of my 4 kids are married, I'm a grandma, and I still have to remember to stop and take care of self-care, right? And start your journey now if you're not doing it. But make yourself a priority. And don't do it to be selfish, but do it so that you can take care of others. Do it for self-compassion, so your self-compassion can spread out and you can show the love to others more by showing self-love to yourself. And so these are some of the things that I've been learning around this last 2 years of this journey. And not that I didn't do self-care before, but sometimes I forget to make myself a priority. And we all can do that, especially when we run our own business and we do all these other things. And, you know where my happiest place is? Helping others. Right? I love making impact in other people's life. But if I don't help myself first, what was it? He even talked about, preparing the table for 1, but I would say prepare the table for 2, for you and God. Because God can have it already all figured out with you. You need him as your guide. So start your journey now. Work on your physical, your emotional, your social, and your spirituality. Whatever that means to you. And this is where you can contact me. And if I could ask everybody in this room for a favor, somebody gave me a challenge. And I need to get more subscribers on my YouTube channel. So if you guys could subscribe to that, so I can meet my goal, because I had somebody challenge me with that. And there's my URL code that should take you to my link tree. And then I did say I do have books over there for sale. But I really, really appreciate you guys staying. And I really, really just appreciate being here. And I appreciate everybody in this room and all the impact of all these speakers. I mean, have you guys not had a phenomenal time? And go home and make sure you implement what you guys learned today. But also make sure you spend some time, enough time on your own self-care.